and EP31, Bitcoin Wallet Backups Explained. Last episode, we built the wallet recovery map. The key idea was simple. The seed phrase is access, but the map is understanding. Today we go directly into backups, because the sentence "I wrote down my seed phrase" sounds like the end of the plan. It is not. It is the beginning of the plan. A backup you have never checked is not a backup. It is a hope. And hope is not a self-custody strategy. This is where beginners get trapped. They hear one rule. Write down the seed phrase. That rule matters. Many wallets use a 12 or 24-word recovery phrase. Bitcoin Design's backup guidance describes that phrase as the fundamental information used to construct a wallet. Bitcoin.org also says a wallet backup can protect against computer failures and human mistakes. So yes, the phrase matters, but the phrase by itself is not the whole plan. A real backup plan has 4 layers. 1, the secret. 2, the storage. 3, the recovery path. 4, the human context. Miss any one of those and you can still fail. Start with the secret. The secret is the material that can recover or spend the Bitcoin. That might be a recovery phrase. It might involve a passphrase. It might involve a wallet file. It depends on the wallet. Do not assume every wallet works the same way. Bitcoin Core, for example, has wallet file backup and restore tools. Other wallets rely on seed phrases. Some workflows include watch-only wallets. Some setups include multi-sig. The point is not to memorize every wallet type. The point is to respect the tool you actually use. Back up the thing your wallet actually requires, not the thing you saw in a random thread. Second, storage. This episode is not going to tell you where to store your seed phrase. That is security advice. The safer lesson is the trade-off. A backup must survive loss, but it must not become easy theft. If the only copy is on the device that breaks, it is not a backup. If the backup is so obvious that anyone can steal it, that is also a failure. Loss and theft are both enemies. A backup plan has to respect both. This is why backup advice that sounds simple can still be incomplete. Someone says, make 2 copies. Someone else says, never make 2 copies. Someone says, use metal. Someone says, use paper. Someone says, use a safe. Someone says, do not keep it where someone would search. The conflict is not always because one person is stupid. It is because every choice changes the balance between loss and theft. Too few copies increases loss risk. Too many copies can increase theft risk. Too obvious can be stolen. Too hidden can be forgotten. That is why the goal is not to copy a stranger's setup. The goal is to understand the problem your setup is solving. Third, the recovery path. This is the part most people skip. They write something down. They feel responsible. Then they never test whether they can actually recover. Testing does not mean doing reckless things with your full stack. It means learning the recovery flow before panic. It means understanding what screen asks for what. It means knowing whether the words were written in the correct order. It means knowing whether a passphrase exists. It means knowing whether the wallet expects a seed phrase, a wallet file, or something else. The worst time to learn recovery is after a phone is gone, a laptop is dead, or a family member is trying to help. Here's a simple way to think about testing without turning this into step-by-step security advice. A test should prove comprehension. Can you identify the wallet? Can you identify the recovery method? Can you tell whether a passphrase exists? Can you tell whether the recovered wallet is the right wallet? Can you tell whether the balance in history makes sense? Can you do that before you are emotional, rushed, or under pressure? That is the test. The point is not performance. The point is confidence. The point is to find confusion while the stakes are low. The fourth layer is human context. This connects directly to last episode. The backup may recover the wallet, but the recovery map explains what the wallet was. Cold storage, spending wallet, business receipts, donation address, old test wallet, retired wallet, watch-only wallet. Those labels do not spend coins. They orient the human. And self-custody is not only a technical system, it is a human system. That phrase matters. Human system. Because many Bitcoin losses are not caused by the protocol failing. They are caused by people losing context, forgetting a passphrase, destroying a device, confusing wallets, trusting the wrong note, or leaving instructions that only made sense to them at the time. Bitcoin can be perfectly reliable while the human process around it is fragile. The backup plan is where those two worlds meet. Here is the beginner mistake. They treat backup as a one-time ceremony. New wallet, right words, put paper away, done. But backups age, homes move, devices change, wallets update, people forget, relationships change. What was obvious in 2026 may be mysterious in 2031. That is why a backup plan needs review. Not constant fiddling, not paranoia. Review. Does the wallet still exist? Is this backup active or retired? Did you move funds? Did you add a passphrase? Did you change devices? Did you export labels? Did you create a watch-only wallet? Did the recovery map still match reality? The best backup plan is boring. Boring enough that you understand it. Clear enough that future you can follow it. Minimal enough that it does not create new secrets everywhere. Strong enough that one broken phone does not become a disaster. And simple enough that you can explain the non-secret parts without exposing the secret. That is a useful standard. If the only way to explain your setup is to reveal sensitive material, the documentation is wrong. If future you cannot tell whether a backup is active or obsolete, the documentation is incomplete. If a trusted person would have no idea what the words mean in an emergency, the recovery path is not really a path. Again, do not solve that by writing secrets everywhere. Solve it by separating the secret from the instructions around the secret. Now let's be careful about what this episode is not saying. It is not saying put seed words in a cloud note. It is not saying email yourself secrets. It is not saying take screenshots of recovery phrases. It is not saying share private keys with random tools. It is not saying there is one perfect setup for everyone. It is saying that I wrote down words is not the same as I have a recovery plan. A recovery plan answers what must be protected. Where is the non-secret instruction? What wallet type is this? What recovery method does it use? What should be tested safely? What should future me know before touching funds? And what should never be written in ordinary notes? It also answers one quiet question. Who is this plan for? If it is only for present you, it may be too clever. If it is for future you, it needs labels. If it is for a loved one in an emergency, it needs plain language. If it is for a business record, it needs status and purpose. Different situations need different context, but the principle stays the same. Secrets unlock funds, context prevents mistakes. Here is the clean mental model. The seed phrase is the key material. The storage protects the key material. The recovery path proves you know how to use it. The recovery map preserves the meaning around it. That is the whole plan. If one of those pieces is missing, the backup is weaker than it looks. Bitcoin gives you property without permission. That is the power. But it also gives you responsibility without a help desk. That is the cost. Do not outsource that responsibility to vibes. Do not wait until something breaks. Learn the backup path while everything is calm. That is the boring assignment from this episode. Not to move coins, not to buy anything, not to change your setup because a video scared you. The assignment is to look at your current wallet and ask, what would future me need to know if this device disappeared? What part of that answer is secret? What part is non-secret context? And have I kept those two categories separate? If you can answer that, you are already ahead of the person who thinks the seed phrase alone solved the whole problem. Next episode, we take the uncomfortable next step. Bitcoin inheritance, and what happens if the person who understands the wallet is not there. This is exit velocity. Think in Bitcoin. Educational only, not financial, tax, legal, security, or privacy advice.